security center was unusually quiet. Busy, but quiet. All I could hear was the shuffle of papers. I was looking around when I saw Vince. Our eyes met, and he walked over to me. "How are you holding up, Zora?" "As well as anyone else, I suppose. Some of our officers stayed home today. Leave if you need to. Yesterday it was hard." "Oh, that's right. Last time we played there was that earthquake or something, right? That storm? Up on the surface? That was pretty intense." "Yeah, you sure it's okay for us not to be here today? Plenty of people volunteered to stay and work today. It evens out." I glanced around. Couldn't help but notice Ava was missing. "So are you staying or going? If you need to take some time, then do it. We need everyone in top form. I can't have any of you stretching yourselves too thin." Let's stay. Let's stay. It seemed like we were doing okay." "I want to stay. I want to help." Vince nodded and pointed me towards the job board so that I could get to work. Everyone who had shown up today was busy trying to get things back to normal with all the aftermath. It wasn't easy, so I stayed late to help out. "That's nice. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. It's been a few days since I last played. So yeah. Let's see, there wasn't any work today, so maybe I could try and see someone? Well, Ava, oh, we should go see Jude, because he was like really messed up. I love you, Ava, but we gotta go check on my boy Jude. I sat at the table and stared down at a puzzle my mother had cluttered our space with. With everything going on, the cartoon characters smiled up at me, just got on my nerves. I couldn't take it anymore, so I stood up and headed to the door. Maybe some fresh air would clear my head. When I reached the door, I realized that there was no way to get fresh air. My shoulders slumped, but I continued out into the hallway anyway. I glanced down the halls and just started walking. I don't really know where I was headed until I saw the greenery on the other side of the windows. There was no reason to be here, so I started to turn around when I heard someone swear. It sounded like Jude. "Jude?" Uh-oh. Glanced around the corner and saw Jude glaring at the ground. He kicked at it and met my gaze. "What are you doing?" "I'm not sure." He stuffed something in his pockets and then wiped his hands on his pants. "What are you doing?" "I guess I'm not sure either." We fell into an awkward silence. I got the feeling he was hiding something, but I had no idea what or why. Ask him to hang out? Don't push. Maybe we need to find something to do. Want to go to Icarus? No. Let's go somewhere else. Like where? He seemed to think about it for a few moments. Is your mom home? No, you want to go to my place? Yeah, if that's okay. Aw, man, you look stressed as hell. Sure, I guess so. I led him back to my place. He seemed extra antsy and kept glancing around the walls. I don't think we're being followed. Why would someone be following us? I don't know, you just seem so nervous. I'm fine, really. I decided to just drop it, and when we got to the door, I unlocked it and stepped inside. Jude was being a bit strange. Rude. Jude was being a bit strange, but I had no clue why. He walked in and saw the puzzle on the table. Shit, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Really? He walked over to it and poked at one of the pieces that were about to fall off the table. My dad really liked them, but we only had two. He would put them together and then take them apart and do it all over again. Never heard Jude talk about his parents before. At least, never like this. Do you miss them? Jude scoffed and moved away from the table. Doesn't have someone that they miss. He shrugged and stuck his hands in his pockets, then froze. He sighed heavily and pulled out some crazy-looking leaves. Oh. I thought you said you quit? I have. Can you take these for me? Toss them, or hell, sell them on the black market for all I care. You just didn't get them from me. He shoved the dried leaves into my hands and started to snap at the rubber band on his wrist. Did you steal these? Steal is such a strong word. He smirked at me. I placed the leaves in a bag under my bed, not sure how to respond to his careless confession. Didn't he know I worked on the security force? I could turn him in for this. Well, I mean, yeah, you could, but, like, whatever? Well, I mean, well, I mean, like, yeah, obviously stealing is wrong, but, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. There were bigger crimes to worry about besides a few missing leaves, exactly. He wasn't hurting anything or anyone. Anyway, you want some water or something? No, I really gotta go. I'm supposed to be helping Sam in a bit. Thanks, though. If I hadn't come by, I might have messed up my drug-free streak. No problem, Jude. He nodded and walked back to the door, but paused. Took a step closer, preparing to close the door after he left, but he turned back to me. He ruffled my hair a bit, and then opened the door and left. The room was a lot quieter suddenly, so I went back to staring at the puzzle. Maybe Mom would finally come here early enough to work on it tonight. Aw, that was cute. It's getting late. Did we get a heart? Yeah, we got a heart with Jude! That's my boy! So now we're on equal standings with Ava and Jude, which is good. Because I love them both so much. There's a town meeting. Why in quotes? Town hall meeting today in the community center. I glanced at Mom, who was fretting over her hair. I'm guessing the mayor wants to discuss what happened. Mom lowered her arms and deflated a little. It was so awful. I'm so glad we made it to Camden when we did. She turned around and appeared to study me. It was such a tragedy. An awful tragedy. I can't help but focus on my apprehension that my appreciation that you and I are safe. She grasped our hands together and pulled them close to her chest. They trembled slightly. If you're hoping I know what Rick plans to say, I don't. I'm guessing he'll try to explain himself, justify what he did. Do you think he did the right thing? She frowned and dodged my question. I don't know. What do you think about what he did? All those people died because of him. He could have sheltered everyone until the power plant was repaired. Mom frowned and pulled me into her arms, stroking my hair. My little rain cloud. Things are not always so simple. It makes me happy to know you have such a big heart, though. She pulled away slightly and smiled. I was annoyed that she was talking to me like that. I'm not a child anymore. You will always be my child. She ruffled my hair and went back to messing with hers. She didn't seem to have a solid opinion, or at least want to share it with me if she did. I knew better than to try and get it out of her. I don't know anyone better at redirecting the conversation than her. We finished getting ready and left to go to the community center. The room was fuller than I had ever seen it. Despite this, it was quiet. I saw the mayor at the stage, speaking to someone. Mom squeezed my shoulder and moved to join him. I needed to find a seat. Saw a few people I recognized. Let's sit by Jude. No, let's sit by Jude. We just had that moment with Jude. I wanna sit with Jude. The mayor walked towards the podium and gently tapped the mic. The speakers thudded unpleasantly. On this sad occasion, I have gathered you all here to discuss what happened a few days ago. The room was still silent. His voice echoed against the walls. It was a horrible tragedy, and I had to make hard choices. Choices that would allow Camden, all of you, to thrive or fall. He began to outline a list of all the reasons he had kept the doors closed. Limited supplies, the dangers of the storm, potential for security threats, and he continued. Jude sighed and rubbed his knees. What's wrong? Nothing. Are you pissed about what happened? You're pissed? Yeah, he killed those people. You didn't go out there and shoot them. You didn't cause the storm. Okay, so he let them die. placed a hand on mine, frowning at me. He did. I won't disagree with that. Are you alright? Yeah. I rubbed my face. I'm just so... I don't know. The mayor's voice picked up in volume, pulling my attention. After a moment I could hear Jude roughly snapping the rubber band against his wrist. Now I know many of you are feeling scared and uncertain. I'll ask you all to trust me. Camden is my priority, and I wouldn't do anything to put our community in danger. There was an empty threat in the air. His words alone seemed harmless, but his tone darkened on the last sentiment. I looked at Mom, but she was busy jotting some things down. I looked around the room, still eerily quiet. No one seemed to have anything more to say. There was an odd tension in the air that I really couldn't seem to shake. I wanted to leave, go home. When I looked around, I saw that I wasn't the only one squirming in my seat. Know that I'm here for all of you. Camden is here for all of you. See, I told you people, I don't trust him, and I definitely don't trust him now after this. This is weird. I mean, like, I get it, but, like, he's just, like, being weird about it, you know? I don't know. I don't trust him. He left the podium and was immediately surrounded by people who wanted to ask him questions. I was not one of those people, so I headed home. I had some time to do something before the day was over, so I went to the gym. Yeah, I went to the gym. I don't remember what we did last time, but, I mean, considering the work that we've chosen, gym is probably a safe option every time. Nothing particularly interesting was going on in the gym today. There were a few things I could do. Let's do some jogging. I jogged around the track and let my thoughts clear. Sorry, Tabby, as much as I really want to hang out with her, she's so cute. Okay, same as before. Got up, headed to grab coffee. It's just another day. Swept, dusted, and sorted through recycling, shredding anything that required it. Same old, same old. Work was over, I had some time to kill, so this time I went to Icarus. Maybe Jude will be there. Oh, we're on week 4. When I walked in, I didn't see Sam anywhere. I did see a kid reaching behind a bar to grab a bottle of vodka. Our eyes met and he went pale. I mean, what kind of security officer would I be if I didn't say something, right? So I'm not gonna mind my own business. But I'm not gonna be a snitch either. I'm not gonna do that either. Ask him why. Why are you doing that? What are you doing? Kid didn't answer. He ran from the bar, leaving the bottle behind. Okay, well, as long as he didn't take it. The hell's that about? Kid was going after the bottle of vodka. Pointed to where the kid had been reaching. Sam pinched the bridge of her nose. Damn it, I'm going to have to yell at his father again. Fucking hell. You know who he is? Yeah, you'd think that would be a deterrent, but I guess not. Why is he trying to steal vodka? No fucking clue. You want a drink or what? Yeah, whiskey on the rocks, please. Risky on the rocks. God, that's kind of hard to say. Whiskey on the rocks. She nodded and resumed her post behind the door. It remembered what I said that I liked to drink before last time. Alright. Was that Micah's kid or something? Why did we just randomly get a heart with Micah? Interesting. Okay, sure. Grab coffee, walked into work, checked the board. I was assigned to patrol. This meant I had to walk around and create a presence or whatever. I looked up what my assigned route was and grabbed my gear. As I walked through the halls, I was stopped by almost everyone. They smiled, waved. It was unnerving. I expected people to be ducking back into their homes, or at least avoiding eye contact. So strange. I thought people would react differently to me when I was wearing the security force uniform. And they were, but Not in the way I had thought they would. I tested their trust by taking the baton in hand, but even then no one seemed afraid. An older man even mimicked me with his walking cane, as if in comradeship. Odd. Okay, this time we'll go to the gym again. Maybe we'll talk to Tabby if we can. Yeah. I saw Tabby sitting alone. She was leaning against the wall with her eyes closed. Maybe she was taking a nap. As I approached Tabby, her eyes opened and she looked over at me. What? This is a strange place to take a nap. She shrugged her shoulders and crossed her arms. Do you hang out here a lot? I guess. I like to come here and work out. Your dad's got a pretty hard rule about fitness for his security officers. I know. Came here from the surface, right? It dawned on me that Tabby was probably born here. You know that she was. You learned that, like, quite a while ago. Yeah, does sand still shake out of my hair? I ran a hand through my hair and made a show of looking for sand. A little bit might actually have come out. Tabby smiled. No. What's it like up there? My dad won't tell me. He won't tell you? She sighed and rolled her eyes. He says it doesn't matter because I'll never go there. Then people like you come here, and I don't know why people can't go back up there. Unless they're bad? I blinked as she kept attempting to rationalize it. Were you bad, but then good, so they let you come back? I was born up there. Were your parents bad? No, at least I don't think so. Most people come from the surface. Cities like these are hard to come by. Really? Yeah. She nodded. I wasn't sure what it would be like to grow up down here. She really had no idea what it's like on the surface. I couldn't help but wonder what that was like. Okay, you don't look like you've been exiled for something. I hope I never get exiled. Tabby smiled at me shyly. That is not a shy smile. That child is... She is determined more than anybody else I've ever seen. I'll tell my dad not to exile you no matter what. If you play ball with me. Ball? Yeah, it's a game. I'll show you how to play. The game is just called ball. She stood up and grabbed a small, heavy ball. She then proceeded to teach me a weird set of rules involving catching and throwing the ball. Did not understand, but that only seemed to amuse her. It was getting late and I was tired. Okay. No points with Tabby though. Got up and headed to coffee. I headed to coffee, yep. Another day. Old reports, cycle out the ones that were too old. Same old, same old. And the work was over, so this time we went to the library. We haven't seen Trevor or Sam since that one day, I don't think. The library was empty today, and I approached the counter. And as I approached the counter, I didn't even see Trevor. It was quiet, but the lights were on, and nothing had been locked up. Glanced around at the shelves. Fantasy as always, baby. Really wanted to borrow the final rhino? Like the last unicorn? Leave a note. After I found the final rhino to borrow, I retrieved my card from the box and made a note on the book I was borrowing. No reason to make the grumpy librarian grumpier. Otherwise, I had nothing to do here. Glanced around one last time, but I was still alone. I left. It was getting late, tired as always. Yep. Got up and headed out. We were a bit short-staffed because of some kind of stomach bug going around, so I ran around like crazy. We all did. We were all just trying to pick up slack. Luckily, I hadn't caught it. Even now and then I glanced nervously at the paperwork that was starting to pile up higher and higher. It would be there, waiting. Ah, no, I'm out of water! Aw, man. I didn't know I was out. Okay, let's go to Icarus again. As I walked in, I saw Jude sitting alone and toying with a rubber band. Shocker. Those are like the two things he does best. Sit alone and toy with rubber bands. He didn't look too happy, and he maybe wanted to be left alone. Yeah, well, we'll see if he wants company. We're not gonna pressure him and give him a drink, but we're not gonna just like totally ignore him because we're friends. So we'll ask him if he wants company. Headed over to see if he was in the mood to talk. He looked up at me when I walked over, but still seemed pretty annoyed. My steps slowed and I started to turn away, but he waved me over. I'm in a bad mood. Why? He shrugged and nodded at the seat across from him. I hesitantly sat down. What do you miss about before? Before? Yeah, before you came down here. He sighed and looked down at his hands. I guess you haven't been down here long enough to miss anything, huh? Ooh. Oh, that's what I would miss. Wind is good too, but the stars are great, man. Not that the metal ceilings aren't great or whatever. Jude tapped his rubber band and smiled up at me. I remember the stars. Remind me to show you something later. It's a surprise. How am I supposed to remind you then? I'm blushing. He shrugged, but he was biting his lip to hide a smile. So what's bothering you? What's got you so tense? You don't suddenly miss the surface, do you? No, not the surface exactly, just when things were simpler, I guess. I nodded and pretended I understood. He sighed and rested his chin in his hand. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be such a downer. It's alright, I don't mind. I tried to make conversation, but he didn't seem to want to talk and only gave me 1 or 2 word responses. He did seem to enjoy my company and was sad when I had to leave. Aww, poor Jude. You know what? Look, Ava's cute, right? She's amazing. She's wonderful. I love her. I adore her with all my heart. But Jude is a bit more interesting, honestly. I kind of think like he's got more going on with him, and I feel like maybe we've ran into Jude more often, so maybe he's just opened up more at this point. But either way, I think I'm actually leaning towards Jude now instead of Ava. Another heart? Aw, come on. I don't understand what gives us hearts and what doesn't. Let's see. So let's go see Jude again. See if he's feeling any better. I walked out in the hallway and ran into Jude. Oh, hey. Hi. So, see ya. Oh my god, he's so awkward and precious. I love him. Wait, I'm bored. What are you doing? Maybe I can tag along. Or not? No, it's just... Sure, come on. I followed him as he walked towards the library. You like to read? Not especially, but I'm looking for something specific. What's that? I'm trying to identify this strange thing that I have. A strange thing? Yeah. And where did you get a strange thing? When the scouts go to scavenge from the ruins, they bring back all kinds of junk. I pick through and grab anything interesting. They let you do that? No, so don't tell anyone. And like, he's like a little bit of a bad boy, like, okay. Not typically the type I go after, but actually, Jude's cool. I like Jude. Oh, okay. Again, he does know that I'm on the security force though, right? I followed him through the shelves and he began to poke through the ones with technical information. What does it look like? Not like anything here. Picked up a book and paged through it. Does whatever it is work? Sort of? I don't know. I can't tell what it's supposed to do, and if it's doing it, it has a screen and a lot of buttons. Jude paused and put the book away, his shoulders slumping forward somewhat. Even then, the battery I put in it won't last much longer. Sounds interesting. He looked at me for a moment. Zora, wanna see something really cool? Yeah, obviously. He gave me a small smile and then tugged my arm to lead me out of the library. Oh, okay. He led me to the greenhouse and back into the corner where he kept a lot of things. Look. I looked down at it, then back at him. Open it. It's a music box. Carefully lifted the lid and then heard a soft and warped chirping. A small coil inside the box began to move. Wow, cool. I don't think I've seen anything quite like it. Really, I find a lot of them, but they hardly ever work. I shook my head and closed the lid. What a strange song it was playing. Perhaps it had been warped by heat. I'm starting to think you're some kind of criminal. He shrugged. I guess you can think that if you want. I'm only teasing. I know. He looked down at some oily pieces of metal on his desk and began to sort them. I opened my mouth to speak and break the awkwardness, but he beat me to it. He began to tell me about all the various components he had collected and what they did. After some time, I headed back home. Oh, I don't want to head back home. Ah, no, more hearts, please. Maybe it's like a kind of like... I keep thinking about it as like we do one good thing and then suddenly now we have a heart. But it's probably more than that. It's probably like you have to like build up into the next heart level or something like that, you know? That's just my guess, but I don't know. A groan from the bathroom woke me up. I leaned up and glanced around, trying to shake the fuzziness of sleep. Mom? Another groan answered me. She was in the bathroom. Oh no, did she catch the bug? Thought the bug had almost completely run its course through the community, but Mom must have gotten it last. Starting to feel really thankful that I hadn't caught it. You alright in there? The door cracked open, just wide enough for Mom's hand to poke through and point at the table. Tell Rick I'm sick, please. I wrote him a note. Make sure he gets it, okay, honey? Sure, Mom, but maybe I should stay home and... No, I'd rather you didn't. Just go and give Rick my note. She shut the door before I could argue. Obviously, she would hear me through the door, but I got the message. I grabbed the note. It was folded and taped, and my mother's handwriting graced the front. She'd only written Rick, and it made me sigh. I wasn't sure she should be so openly casual with the mayor, but I guess there was no stopping her now. I got dressed and grabbed the note and headed out the door. Sleepy. I'm so exhausted today. I was still early, so the hallways weren't too crowded. The note felt heavy in my hands, and it felt awkward walking around with it. What had my mom even written down in it? It had to be boredom, but I felt very compelled to read it. Maybe it would give me insight to what was going on between her and the mayor. It wasn't like it would seem strange for the letter to be sealed a bit sloppily, especially if she was sick. No. Put the thought out of my mind. I really didn't want to know. Also, it's wrong. When I got to the community center, the doors were open. I spotted the mayor up by the stage, so I headed over to hand him the note. Here, Mr. Mayor, from Mom. Handed him the note. He opened the letter and read it quickly. Must have been short. Thank you, Zora. Do you think your mother will mind if I come by to... I don't know if that's a good idea. She really isn't feeling well. Right, give her my, Let Camilla know that I hope she feels better soon, Zora. I will. I backed up and walked back into the crowd. I ignored the few glances that were shot my way. Why are people glancing at me weirdly? After a few moments, he stood to address the community. I'm happy to announce that the stomach bug that has been going around this week seems to have died down. Despite the discomfort, know that the worst is over and the illness was not dangerous. Steps have been taken to prevent this from happening again, and I must continue to ask that if you aren't feeling well, then please confine yourself to your quarters. This will help prevent the spread of it. He started to make some general announcements, but some people near the front started to speak up and shout. Couldn't make out what they were saying, but the mayor responded. Right, I know many of you are still concerned about what happened on the surface. When it is safe, I will send out couriers to gauge the situation. Until then, it is in Camden's best interest to carry on. The people at the front who had been shouting don't look appeased, but the mayor assured them that he would speak to them personally. I was curious about it, but at the same time I wanted to get out of here. I could check on Mom and then make myself scarce while she recovered. I had some time to do something before the day was over. So we'll go to the gym. I think we went to Icarus last time. Nothing happening. Hang out with Tabby. Tabby was off by herself again. Is there nothing for you to do? Why are you always here? I'm not always here. Why are you always here? I don't have an answer. There aren't a lot of kids my age, so when Dad works, I either study stuff or hang out wherever. I like the gym. There's all the windows to see the plants. Oh, the greenhouse? Yeah. So what do you study? Mathematics and stuff. I'm not sure what career I want yet. I guess security officer would be cool. Like your dad. And you, I guess. Sure. I think I'd rather work with the plants, though. I like food. You could study botany or whatever. Plant stuff. Maybe we can sneak in sometime. Really? Yeah, just don't tell your dad. I don't want to get exiled because we took some plants. Okay, I won't. She smiled and I sat with her for a bit longer to chat. She told me about all the different things she studied and all the jobs she was interested in. We're yawning. Ugh. We got a heart with Tabby, or a star with Tabby. Yay! So yeah, I guess it's just like after a certain amount of points you get from having interactions with characters, then it goes up another level, which makes sense. I think that's usually how it goes with games like this, so my bad for thinking otherwise.